All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Potential Project, where we explore what it takes to unlock your full potential in every area of your life. And that's exactly what we're going to do today, right? We're going to talk about a specific area, but my goal and my mission is that we can all elevate our lives and our personal excellence to then impact tons and tons of people, millions of people that are around us are communicating with us in this world. And today, I want to just bring some awareness and ways that we can improve our health. I talked to clients, and I actually posted on social media the other day about a lot of us sometimes are walking around in pain or are suffering or are in ill health, and we have normalized it, right? If you are experiencing chronic pain in your back, your knees, your joints, if you're experiencing chronic bloating, constipation, any of those things are not normal. Your body is meant to go to the bathroom once a day or twice. It is meant to have energy. It is meant to feel vibrant and have no pain. But what's happened in society is they have coined us with phrases and titles to normalize it, like, oh, you're just old, you're just in menopause, you're just, and then enter in your version of what those titles are. I'm sure you realize you've been called some of those things. Like, I just turned 30, so people are like, oh, you're getting old. Like, wait till you feel this. No, I don't believe in any of that stuff. These numbers we have created for our life are just fake. 30 is a fake number. But anyway, back to what I was talking about is the fact that I want my health and your health to be as optimal as it can be. Because when that happens, you're not dependent on medication, you're not dependent on someone else to do things for you, right? You can live a vibrant life. You can go pursue passions. You can go be charitable. You can go enjoy life, right? You can go on trips and climb stairs and do all these things. If you don't have your health, we don't have much, right? It's kind of hard to operate and be in a state of bliss, love, and joy if we're in pain and we're sick, right? So, I want to bring to your attention that there is a lot fighting against you. And I don't mean this to scare you in any which way, shape, or form, but there's a system that is at war basically to keep you sick and tired. Pharmaceutical companies, big food companies, they want you to consume their products and they have to have some control over that if you're going to do it, right? So if you're sick and you get hit with a prescription that they tell you you're just going to have to take this for the rest of your life and that's the only way you can feel better, well, then guess what? They're going to make a lot of money from you taking that prescription. So they do that to a bunch of people, right? I'm not going to go deep in the weeds of that whole thing because that's a whole nother conversation in itself. But I just want to bring to your attention that it's not just, ooh, we're out in nature picking berries and this stuff is all great and good for us. No, there are people who produce the food that you're eating, and you are what you eat. And I even heard a better phrase, and I'm going to get into this, but it is not you are what you are what you eat eats. So if you're eating plants and nuts and berries, but those things have all been sprayed with pesticides and different chemicals and toxins. Well, they're eating that, they're consuming it. That makes up their internal, system, and you're then consuming that. Well, now you're getting all that stuff that they ate. And there's also another study out there that will show you cows, right? You might be a vegetarian, that's okay. But if you eat animal proteins and animal meats like cows, pigs, goats, all of the all of the animals that you would consume, that you would eat, are being fed stuff that isn't proper to their diet. So they're eating corn, soy, and even candy. Believe it or not, cows are eating the most terrible things on earth. Like you wouldn't feed your kid a bunch of candy because you don't want them to get cavities or get sick or too much sugar, but we're feeding our cows that stuff and then we're eating it. Also, another stat is that 80% of all of the antibiotics that were purchased within the US, 80% of that was spent on the animals that we eat. So they're pumping our cows, our pigs, our chickens with antibiotics so that they grow faster. They don't get sick and die, but they grow faster. They have they're just more full of meat and they grow quicker so that they can then butcher them, get it out to us, and then repeat the process rather than spending a ton of money on, a pasture that cows can roam in and feeding them the hay and the grass that they want to eat, and that's going to support their system, and then that's a happy cow. So I'm here to tell you, you are not just what you eat, you are what you eat eats. So it's very important to be aware of these things because even if you are making an effort to eat better foods, like some whole foods, and you're eating, okay, I'm eating ground beef instead of a cheesesteak or something, like I made it at home. That's great. But there are levels of pesticides and toxins and things that are in your food that are denurturing it and making it not what it's meant to be, which means when your body consumes it, it's not affecting your body the way it should, right? Like if you're eating organic chicken, farm raised chicken, your body's going to take the proteins, the amino acids out of that, go fuel yourself, go keep you satiated. But when you're eating a chicken that has been kept in a little coop and fed stuff that it shouldn't be eating, and it's sick and it's got antibiotics in it, and you're consuming that, well, then your whole internal system and your gut microbiome gets thrown off, and you're not able to, get the nutrients that you need out of that. So I just want to be aware that there is a whole plethora of things going on to your food. So now that you are aware, I don't mean to scare you and say, oh my God, like, what do I do about this, right? Well, there's tons of things that we can do, but the first thing is awareness. So that's why I wanted to bring it to your attention so that the more that you can learn, whether you're reading or listening to this podcast or have a coach or something, the more that you can learn about it, the more steps that you can take in the right direction. Now you might say, Sean, let's like step back, dude. Like I'm eating, fast food a couple times a week. I'm not even, eating the broccoli and the chicken yet. That's okay. There's hope for everyone, right? We just need to worry about where are you currently at and what are the steps we can take forward. But now that we're all under the understanding that there's a lot of layers that are happening, right? There's deep layers. It's not just like, oh, there's food, I eat it, I go on with my day. There are organic foods, there's grass-fed foods, there's processed foods, there's ultra processed foods. There's a ton of things that are happening within the food industry that we need to be aware of and make adjustments accordingly. So there are, when you do this, right, when you are eating foods that are not beneficial to you, here's some of the things that happen, right? So let's talk whole foods, for example. You're like, all right, I'm eating broccoli, I'm eating berries, I'm eating chicken, like I'm doing the whole foods thing. That's great. That's the first step that everyone should do. If you're going from, fast food and chips, you should make the first step to get to whole foods. That is amazing. But let's say you're there. There are a lot of whole foods that lack the nutrients for what your body desires. So spinach, for example, spinach it's grown in the ground, but if the ground doesn't have the nutrients in it, then you're eating the spinach and you're not getting your bang for your buck out of there. So it's not really doing what it needs to do in your body. Blueberries and strawberries, those are something that you consume. You don't peel like there's no peel. There's no banana peel, no orange peel. You're eating the full blueberry and strawberry. Well, if those things are sprayed with pesticides, you are eating pesticides. Not only were they grown with them, but they're on the outside. And if you're not rinsing them with like a vinegar, solution, you're just eating pesticides, which is making your body upset in a sense, right? So there's whole foods. So you should take the step to get to whole foods. And then there are whole foods that lack nutrients. So that's something that we can work on, right? And the way that you work on that is getting used to reading the labels on the back of the packages, or if it is a whole food like an orange, it's not going to have a nutrition label. It's going to say organic or not. Your best bet is to pick fruits, anything really, meats that are organic because they're spraying them directly and then you eat them. Like something like an orange or a banana. Yes, it's better to be organic, but it's not as negative as if it's something like a blackberry, blueberry, strawberries, because you're eating those directly. So with whole foods, you want to try to get organic as many times as you can. When it comes to meats and packaged, animal proteins, you want to go for grass fed. You want to go for and it's free range, right? It makes sense to go the extra mile and get those extra things because what I found is you're seeing it at surface level. You're just seeing it in the supermarket. You go in and you look at the eggs, and the free range eggs are $2.30, and the regular eggs are $1.30. I don't know what they're actually cost. I'm just throwing this out there. So you're like, oh, that's a no-brainer. I'm going to get the regular eggs. You're not seeing what's going on behind the scenes of when they're injecting the chickens and what they're eating and the quality of life that they have and the sprays that are going on the things. Because if you did, you would spend the extra dollar. I promise you it's worth it, right? It's causing all types of problems inside your body. You might have met somebody who's now vegan because they saw a documentary on pig farms and they saw how disgusting it was and how poorly they treated them. And they were like, you know what? I've had enough. That was enough proof to have me stop eating meat. Well, all I'm telling you is all you're seeing is the grocery aisle. You're not seeing the process in which it was made to get there. So I'm just, bringing some awareness to that. Then there are intolerances, right? So when you eat food, you've probably experienced indigestion or bloating or something that's noticeable. So that is you ate a food, your body didn't agree with it. You might have an intolerance to that food. So we can again be aware, hey, I ate that broccoli. It made me feel bloated. Let me try to eliminate broccoli for a little bit and swap it for something else. And you can guess and check. And then again, I talked about this already, but like toxins, right? There are toxins that when they're on your food cause inflammation. That doesn't mean your hands are going to blow up and be all big and your stomach's going to be bloated. Like those are visible symptoms and signs that something is off. But there are toxins that cause inflammation internally and you don't even notice it, right? Like you're holding on to inflammation. It doesn't mean that your arm grew or your stomach is sticking out. It's stuff that you can't even notice, but it's affecting you. So that's why I was saying, even though, you're grabbing the blueberries because they were cheaper than the organic ones, you might be eating that and causing inflammation in your body. And that's causing a whole array of different problems, right? And I want to introduce a term that I am going to be allowed to use. It's called metabolic chaos. I'm currently in a program of higher learning to be able to do functional testing and learn all these things. That's a podcast for another day. But metabolic chaos just means that there is layers of things that are happening internally to your health. So let's say you are eating a food that you're intolerant to, and it's causing a reaction, right? Let's say you're having acid reflux or something, and then that in turn is causing another system of your body to not work properly. So now your liver is not getting the nutrients that needs, and that's getting congested, and it's not able to fully, sift out all of the toxins in your body, and then that's causing problems downstream. So it's essentially a downstream effect of the things that are happening that are going wrong. And the problem with that is you don't always know where the solution is, right? So let's say you're eating these foods with toxins in them. You are or eating the ultra processed foods that have no nutrients in them, and that's causing a problem. That's causing a problem. That's causing a problem. And you're wondering why I can't lose weight, or you're wondering why I can't sleep at night, or you're wondering why my skin's breaking out, right? Like all these things are happening and you're just lost. You've probably been to the doctors and they've prescribed you medicine. You've been to multiple, gyms and stuff, and you're like, why can't I lose this weight? Well, I'm here to tell you it's probably not your fault, right? When you're eating these foods, they are not the chemical compounds that food is supposed to be. So your body is not responding in the way that it needs to, and it's causing a whole bunch of mess. So now that you know this, right, it's like, what are we going to do? what are we going to do about this problem, and how can we make fixes today? Now, some things that you can do immediately and just baseline to live a healthier, life and get in tune with this is number one. I mentioned this before, but read the nutrition labels, guys. Don't be lazy. When you go to the grocery store, yes, you should be shopping in the perimeter. You should be going for whole foods, but you should be reading the nutrition labels. Is there a bunch of stuff you don't understand on there? Right? It's probably so many ingredients that they've just chemically made this food. It's not even the real food anymore, and it's not going to affect your body properly. So start flipping those things over. Read the back of the labels. How many calories are there? How many grams of added sugar are in there? Are there syrups, high fructose corn syrup, all these additive fake sugar supplements that are not benefiting you at all? So turn the labels over. It's not about the calories necessarily. It's about the ingredients, the added sugar, the processed fats, the trans fats. Those things are not good for you. So start by reading the nutrition labels. Then second, like I said, whole foods. That's a safe bet to start. If you're like, hey, I've been eating Doritos and McDonald's my whole life, well, then let's swap that out. Start finding some ingredients that you can have full of whole foods. And then the other thing you can do is getting some daily movement in, right? I'm not saying that you need to go be a gym rat and crush your workouts, even though strength training is amazing for you, but let's just get some movement. We, back in the day, were meant to go hunt for our food and be on our feet. Go for a walk, do some push-ups, do some sit-ups. I don't know. Just don't sit in the chair on the couch, right? We can order things from our phone. We can work from our laptop. You don't got to leave a seat all day. Please just go get some daily movement, get out in the sun, get some vitamin D. And then the other thing that is really, really important, and I think even though there's been books and research, and I still think sleep gets underlooked, right? Please work on a regular sleep schedule, right? Going to bed around the same time, waking up around the same time is going to let your body function. It's going to let your body optimize your energy, right? It's going to optimize when your cortisol levels are high and when they're low, right? Your stress is able to be managed. You're able to process things when you're sleeping deep. That's when you're burning fat. That's when you're recycling the toxins in your body and flushing those out, flushing your brain out. Like there's so many magical things that happen during your sleep. So things I want you to work on starting today: reading nutrition labels, starting to get some whole foods, get some daily movement in, and really work on a more consistent sleep schedule. And those are going to start to snowball into deeper things. And we're going to obviously talk more about those individual components, about whole foods, about daily movement. And I have tons of podcasts in the past that talk about them. But please, baseline, whole foods, read the nutrition labels, get some daily movement in, and get on a regular sleep schedule. And you will start to fight against this treadmill that they're trying to put you on with all the toxins and BS that is out there in the food. And if you have any questions, please always feel free to reach out. It's literally my mission so that I can learn more about my health and you can learn more and we can all just live a healthier, happier life. So have a great week, guys. I will see you next Tuesday. These go off at 5 a.m. So be posted.